Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Sharon Williams, and today's presentation will be on the impact of changes in assessment on student achievement and progression across different demographic groups in the School of Life Sciences, Coventry University. So I will talk about the assessment we do here at Coventry University, or we call it also the Coventry Way. And we use assessments that are relevant and drive learning. Our students have the opportunity to experience authentic, inclusive, and varied assessment through their academic journey, enabling them to clearly demonstrate what they are learning. We give them feedback through formative feedback and summative assessments. So summative assessment is usually at the end of the module and they receive a grade on it. And formative is during the module and during the semester. They get feedback. If it is when they're writing their reports or they're doing a presentation, we give them feedback how they can improve through the semester. So the assessment strategy, there are a few design principles, and they are mainly based on the QAA principles of assessment design. For level 6 and 7, which are third year and master students, the turnaround for returning assessments is 10 days or 2 weeks. And for level 4 and 5, which are year 1 and 2, we have 3 weeks or 15 days for giving students their feedback. So the assessment options are encouraging innovation. So we would like to have as much variety in our assessment. And we are separating the assessment and learning credits. And I will explain it later in more details how we can separate the learning credits from the assessment credits. Before that, I would like to cover the main assessment modes that we have at the university at the minute. We have the core assessment, which is testing students' understanding of the essential models, concepts, and approaches related to the subject discipline with multiple retesting, which means that students have more than one attempt to pass a component of the module. For example, if we have a competency test where students are in the lab and we are testing how they can load agarose gels, so they will have the first attempt with other kind of components, and if they passed all their components of that competency test, they have passed. There might be few components that they didn't do as well, so they failed that component, which means they will have to redo that competency test in a later date until they pass all the components of that assessment. Or if, for example, they have presentations, if the presentation wasn't up to achieving those learning outcomes, so students will not be able to pass. However, that doesn't mean that they fail the module. They will have other attempts until they manage to pass it. Usually, it goes around 3 to 5 attempts until they are passing that component of the module. So that is core assessment. Then we have the applied core assessment, providing students with opportunity to demonstrate their ability to apply disciplinary core knowledge to real-world problems, issues, or in a realistic scenario. This part is graded, and students are getting marks for that. The next one is core-based assessment, providing the opportunity for students to demonstrate a more holistic grasp of the discipline, and this is graded, which means students, when they are assessed, they can have more than one module can be combined when they are assessed on that attempt. So in core assessment, The main objective is to establish learning that is needed. So the students need to have that basic understanding and will be able to complete that in order, or basic concept, before they can continue to the next level. You can also, in that stage, you can identify students that are at risk, and you can support them and give them extra, come to extra surgery hours or any other support that is needed for the students to pass. Receive the opportunity within the module to support first-time pass and practice. So just to explain the differences between learning credits and assessment credits. So there is assessment design option 1. So as you are, I'm not sure if you are aware, but if you are aware, there are 60 credits in each semester. And for this one, there is module 1. Usually students have 3 modules, so module 1, 2, and 3. And each one is around 20 learning credits. So for the assessment, for example, if we combine those 2 modules, you can have 10 core assessment credits, and that can be a pass-fail, and another 10 core assessment credits for the other module, and that can be pass-fail. And then you can have 20 course-based assessment credits, which can combine those 2 modules. For this module, you have module 3. There can be a 20 applied core assessment credit, and that is a grade that students will receive at the end of it. The other option is you have the 3 modules, and in this module, you have for each one, you have 20 learning credits. For this one, you combining those 2 modules, you can do for both of them like 10 core assessment. What is the core understanding the students need to have in order to pass this basic understanding, basic module understanding. And then you can have 30 credit assessment credits, which are for the course-based assessment. And that can be based on those 2 modules. And you can see the advantages is that you can have 2 assessments instead of having 4 assessments. Because if you had 2 assessments for this module and 2 assessments for this module, then it will be 4. In this case, you reduce the assessment overall to 2, although the assessment credit is much bigger in this one, which is 30 instead of 10. And for this one is module 3, you have 20 learning credits, 10 is a core assessment, and then 10 is applied core assessment, which is graded. So the core assessment is just pass-fail, and the core assessment or applied core assessment is the one that gives you the grade. So just to give you a little bit of background, how things were before this assessment design was changed is, and that happened before the pandemic, is that we had the 20 learning credits, and that was aligned with the 20 assessment credits. Usually it was 10 credits each. So it was a test for 10 credits and, let's say, a lab report for 10 credits, and you average them to get you the 20 learning credits. So that is aligned. So during the pandemic, we started changing it to this core assessment, which means you had a pass-fail, and then you had the actual mark, which aligned with, for example, the lab report. And you will see those results and see how that opportunity changes. So, for example, the assessment type for level 4, which is year 1, this is what we used to do before the pandemic or before those changes. We had, for example, a 2-hour test, and that was just one attempt. there was a group-based reference list, which was one attempt, and 1,500 words report. And then that is changed to online test, which was multiple attempts, core, then a group-based reference list that we kept that and we kept that. But the actual mark came from those two, and this was more the core. Yeah, so pass fail. Another example is, again, there is a test that was changed to multiple attempts instead of one go at a test. And another, so you can see that was module X, module Y, and module Z. And you can see there are different components. So there was like a practical lab report or a group presentation or a test or interpretive lab report. So all those, the main thing that was changing was from the test that was one attempt to online test, multiple attempts. And if you look at the graph here, you can see the pass first time in percentage, and this is the different modules, and that is during the different years. So that is mainly before the pandemic and then during the pandemic. So you can see before the pandemic on that same module, we had 65%. And then the pass first time went up almost to 90%. This one was around 55% and went up for 85%. And then this one, module Z, there was an increase and kind of stayed more or less the same. So you can see there was some kind of improvement in the pass first time as a result of those changes, but we don't know if there was a change in the cohort or if there was other changes that affected that improvement in the pass first time. But I will touch that later on. In level 5, we also changed the assessment. Before, again, there was a test and there was interpretive like exercise, and that was changed again to multiple attempts. And you can see that in module X, Y, there was, you can see a change from around 70% to 80% that passed first time on that module. So those two combined components of the module average, it went up. So, and pass, I just wanted to mention that the pass rate, what does it mean passing? Passing a module, it's over 40%. If students receive less than 40%, they have not passed the module. So that means they have passed. It doesn't tell you how much they passed, but it tells you that they have passed first time. In level 6, we have not applied those changes, so there was no core tests online. So when we looked at those modules that have not changed as that result, there wasn't a significant change in pass first time. So it seems that more or less it stayed quite constant. Some of them even went down. Some of them, there was some kind of a change a bit. But it seems that level 4 and 5, when we applied those changes, there was the pass first time has improved. So we collected some feedback from students about those changes, and student A says, I'm glad we have multiple attempts for them, as it shows me what questions I have got right and wrong, so I know where I need to do revision. I'm still stressed about the test. I will always stress about the test, but I'm a lot less stressed than if I only had one attempt. Student B have mentioned I have attempted a couple of the practice core tests. I think they are helpful, as it gives me a chance to look over my work and any review, any content that I didn't completely understand. And student C, I found them very helpful, and when I try the test, I actually concentrate on understanding the content. I am more relaxed. And this is when we took some more of the feedback from students. The main thing is that it was less stressful for them, that they knew that even if they fail the first attempt, they will have a second attempt they can try, and that is not going to affect their final mark. So what are the next steps? The main next steps we are going to look at is look specifically on the characteristics, and this is what we've done, and I have some data for and statistics that I will add to that when I write up the paper, and comparing the actual marks per assessment, if that will be possible, by how much the percentage of improvement. Also, regarding the characteristics, what we want to show is that there was no main differences between one cohort, 1 year to another. So when we looked at the BME, for example, we could see in 2019, 20, and 2021, 21, 22, the percentage of BME, Black minority ethnicity, we could see that that was stayed more or less the same. So in 2019, 74, 2020, 74, and in 21, 22, 77%. So that kind of component of the student stayed the same. So that doesn't mean, for example, was that affecting the why more people passed first time. So that component stays the same, and there will be more characteristics that we will look at, like male, female, which is gender, and other, how close they are to the university, and postcode, and etc. characteristics, and we will add that into the paper for more details. This was a pilot project. We wanted to see the effect of those changes in assessment and how that improved our pass first time and attainment. And thank you very much for listening, and looking forward to hear some feedback. Thank you.